I think there's no doubt that none of us possess all the talents. There's also none of us that would have none. Well, we might know people who think they have all the talents. He or she is full of him or herself, but it's impossible to possess all the talents. We are all made by God, and we are given talents. What we do with our talents, that's another story. How we use them, that's another story. But the truth is, we all do have talents. If I had all of your talents, if I was as loving, caring, good-hearted, faithful as you are, I wouldn't really need you. This community would exist with just me. But I am aware of what my talents are, and I know that I need yours as well in order for this community, for this church, for this group of people to exist. Talents are not given to us so we can compare with each other. Rather, so we can use them for one another, so we can exchange them, so we can be complete. It's hard to live in the shadow of people who might have more gifts or more talents than we do. It is hard. 3 weeks ago, I went to Poland. My dad died at the age of 61. I'm sure some of you are aware of it. I lived all my life, at least for the first 22 years of my life, in the shadow of a man of many talents. That's how I saw my dad. A great provider, awesome husband. I'll skip a great father part. There were a few parts that he had to work on when it came to that, but wonderful boss, humble man, respected by many, held various positions in the city where we lived, anywhere from being a manager to a director to CEO for 14 years, so brilliant mind. A man of many, many talents. I think his biggest talent was to be able to use all the gifts, all the talents that he had for others. He was a man that wouldn't do something without knowing the cause of it. When he became a CEO of the water department in my town, his biggest goal was to revitalize the whole department. That was his biggest goal. And he did it rather quickly and survived under 4 mayors. I live in the city of Chicago, so mayors, they last long, not in Poland. 14 years, it's 4 mayors. He survived not being involved in any politics. That was his talent. He knew his talents. He also knew his abilities, and he used them. He wasn't afraid to use them. And it wasn't for his own sake, it was for the collective, it was for everybody else. If you saw my dad, you would never believe he was a CEO. Very humble, very quiet, very down to earth, not living like a VIP you would think that VIPs live. We often focus on other people's talents. We try to be like them. And when we do that, we lose our own sense of talents. We lose the sense of our own abilities and gifts. Do I disagree with the unequal distributing of the talents in the gospel? Yes. Does this discourage me? Absolutely not. If you have 10 gifts, 10 talents, 5, 2, or even 1, use it for others. Discover it. We are always worth something. We all have some sort of value that comes with our talent, despite how many little talents you have. So what's your talent? Not somebody else's. What is your talent? Or what are your talents? Do not get discouraged if you only received 1 or 2. We must refocus on our own talents. We must value our own kind of a talent. I know that our collective talent over here is to always to be welcomed. That's our collective. We're pretty much aware of it. We talk about it all the time. But what's your individual talent as a member of this community? You always volunteer here. You help. You sacrifice. You welcome. You feed. You encourage. You support. You raise your children here. You raise your families here. These are your talents. Think of those talents, not of somebody else's. Do not be intimidated by other people's talents. Do not compare yourself. Be simply you. And